Mike will go first.
Okay, we're rolling.
Good evening and welcome to the Eureka Springs CAPC November 16th, 6 p.m. meeting. Let's do roll call. Chris, you want to do roll call?
Our two new commissioners, Brad Tate Green, here. Colin Polk.
Here.
David Avanzino.
Present.
Steve Holyfield.
Here.
Chris Clifton.
Here.
And Chris Jones. Here.
Okay. Thank you. Do want to welcome Bradley Tate Green tonight. Super excited for him and Colin Polk joining us on the commission. It's fantastic to have new blood, new energy, and we're really excited to work with you guys. Would you like to say anything, Bradley?
I appreciate the opportunity to serve and just look forward to making a difference in the community and for all the citizens of Eureka Springs. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Colin?
Yeah, I'm just going to second that and say it's exciting to be given a chance and see what we can do.
Awesome. All right, moving on to minutes, approval of minutes.
I move we approve the minutes for the regular meeting, October 25th, 2023.
Second.
Got a motion by Steve Holyfield for approval of October 25th minutes, seconded by Bradley. Did you second it? No, someone did. David Avanzino seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to financials.
This is this one here. It says,
What? Do we?
Do we do this one?
Yes.
Special meeting.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. My bad.
I move we accept the minutes from the CAPC special meetings minutes for November 1st, 2023.
Second.
Got a motion by Steve Holyfield to approve special meeting minutes from November 1st, 2023, seconded by David Avanzino. All in favor?
Aye.
Good catch. Thank you. Okay, now moving on to financials. Scott, you want to talk to us about financials?
Financials. I chose not to close the October financial statements because we have several more days to receive the October payments because the deadline to receive the 2% discount is the 20th, and here it is the 16th. So technically we really have another week, and right now we've only collected about 38% of our total budget. So it's too early to close the books out, but I'll have them closed out probably the day after Thanksgiving in that area. So then we'll have the October.
Something to consider is when we have these late meetings, the fourth, well, this one's not, but when we have a fourth Wednesday, even then we don't have all the money in. And so something to think about is moving those meetings up, and we'll kind of see how that flows really because we've moved up December's. So just something for top of mind to kind of see how that flows and looks, because we will have October completely closed and everything. And that's kind of rare. This whole year we haven't had a perfect picture from a meeting. So.
No.
Okay.
One thing, there was two projects I worked on, well, actually three, but two of them prevailed tonight. In your packet, you'll see this form. It's called a sales by year month. And under the yellow tab on the yellow tab to the right, what I did, I went back into this particular document and added all of the September tax collections that were received after the closeout. So the $97,050 for food and the $98,584 for lodging are true numbers for the September collections. So that led to a total of $195,634 in looking back at all of the Septembers, this was the best September we've ever had by $20,546, which equates to right at $1 million in gross retail sales for food and lodging in Eureka. And also, that does not include, we don't know exactly what the retail side is for merchants, but I also know out of that $1 million increase in retail gross, the city also got tax out of that also. So not only did we reap the 3%, but also the city gets their 4, 5, or 6%, whatever that number is. So September was a very good month for us, and just want you to know where we were on that.
So a little note about that, Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue during that month was a chunk of that, right?
That's what we had a difference that we've never done before. We the city got behind it. We pushed that also, inviting guests here and promoting it as an event citywide. And, you know, the calculator doesn't lie and the numbers don't lie, and these are the numbers. So the end result is it turned out to benefit the city more so than if we hadn't done anything. And like I was telling Mr. Mike, what we did, we actually went out into our region and pulled $1 million into our community that we would have not seen if we hadn't done something.
So-
That's the fact. So
If y'all don't mind, there's something that came to my mind that that could fall through the cracks with transition and different things, but it came to light with Bikes Blues, and also will be any kind of big festival type deals where we allow in out of town vendors for food and drink. So they're supposed to pay the tax. There's a really good chance they don't, and there wasn't a mechanism to ensure that happens. I know conversations started, and that's why I don't want it to fall through the cracks, started with Scott and Kim at the city, but one idea, and so this ongoing staff can figure this out, but and us, but is an idea was like getting a deposit and or coming up with rules. You know, we need rules for this because there's probably a nice chunk of change that didn't get collected on top of how well we did. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, let me opine on that for a second. One of the things that we discovered in the past was that a group of food trucks would show up at a particular location, and they would basically say that, well, we've been covered under whoever that particular business was that was promoting the event. And, you know, I walked the parking lot one time and talked to about 6 different food trucks, and they said, no, we don't have to have that because we've been covered otherwise. Well, that wasn't true. But that's the situation, and that's something that we really do need to go ahead and hone in on with these events and you know, a particular business that's bringing in this type of environment. So.
Yeah. And the city's aware, and they're working on that too. So
They are.
yeah.
there was one other thing I wanted. Now, I want you to understand that whatever I'm talking to you about, Mike and I have spoken at length about, right?
Yes, that's
That we
right.
talk. One thing that I wanted, out of curiosity, I meant to do it last time, but I definitely caught it this time, was we get an enormous amount of marketing fund requests, more so than what we've had in the past. And that's fine, but I thought, well, let's just see how much we've committed and how many have we funded. And I prepared a worksheet, and was it 17 I told you? I'd have to look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We funded 17 different marketing requests for this year, and that equates to $90,000. And so I just wanted you to have that information as you march forward into 2024, because that could have a bearing on how we budget for that marketing event line item, okay?
I had that penciled in my notes for the budget workshop for the next, in December, when we get it a little more in the weeds. But yeah, it's a great point. Previous commissions have said, we'll only do funding requests, right, if it's brought to us 3 months. They've put a lot of limits on it. We did not do much limiting this last year. So that's something that the commission can try to tighten up a little bit if we want, so.
Also, I believe our bylaws say that we should only fund some of these events for like 3 years, and then if they can't make the money on their own,
But we didn't adopt them, and,
yeah.
so
But
that's a
it.
debate,
I
yeah.
know. But I think that the logic behind that is seed money.
Yeah.
To get them going, but if they can't stand up on their own at some point, should we keep carrying people?
I changed my mind. I used to be like hardcore about that. This group and the town has changed my mind because we're so event-driven. It's such a different town, but it's a very, very much a deep conversation.
It's a deep conversation we need to have.
Mr. Chair, might add that we had developed some time ago a formulary to determine really what the impact would be of an event, and it was based upon what type of lodging would be taking place during a particular event based upon the estimate by the promoter or whatever it is. And also we had a formulary for basically food and drink. And at that particular time, we were able to kind of be able to determine what the net income would be back to the city. And, quite frankly, we had some events, and a great example is Springtime of the Ozarks, which remarkably would only ask for like $250 for direct mail pieces, and they would bring in 2,200 people for a weekend. Well, that's a serious economic impact. So we saw a way to go ahead and do some measuring that way, and it helped really determine, while we had a $5,000 cap on particular just overall, but if an event came in and said we want 5,000, but it looked like we probably would get 50 cents in terms of the return, we could basically say, no, not
We
really.
did turn some down this year.
Yeah.
We didn't just carte blanche. but-
Now, on that same note, I think events like Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue that's unpopular in town with a lot of people, to have these numbers to say, well, last year we can say this is the amount of money that came into town. This is a good reason to have it. And just like Scott said, you can't argue with the numbers if we have the numbers.
Right.
But every year it seems like we go through this hoopla of fighting about Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. When it's over, everybody just moves on and nobody kind of does a summary about what happened, how much money we made. And so I think if we had that follow-up, I think it would be much easier to sell it next year.
Good point.
Let's see. I'll wait till we get down to 9C before I say anything else. I'm finished with what I need to say to you.
So have you got a general sense of, I know we're under budget on salaries, for example, and some things. Do you have any general idea of where we're going to end up? I guess you know where I'm going, what I'm saying?
I will.
I just
Not-
wonder, just curious.
Well-
Not trying to put you on the spot.
I keep an Excel spreadsheet on everything we pay for, and I've got all that categorized by check number, dates, et cetera, for everyone. So the answer is I can give it to you right now, but what I
I
thought,
think by next meeting.
Oh, yeah.
When we're really trying to hone down the budget, we need an understanding, even though it'll be a month early.
that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Are we going to need a special meeting for budget, you think?
So the idea was to do a workshop, like tonight, I mean, whatever everyone wants to do, but my thought was kind of an overview, kind of some higher level discussion to tee up a workshop before this next meeting, at least an hour, to then hopefully narrow that down to an approvable budget.
Right.
So they got a rough draft, I think, for us tonight and stuff.
When we talk about salaries and stuff now, right?
That's the line 6050 on that budget with the yellow lines on it, about the eighth line from the bottom, 6050, with a budget amount of $224,000. Right now, I don't think we will hit that number. We're hovering around the $176,000 mark on that one, so I don't think we will hit that number, but we've had changes in staff, and I'm not sure what the director wants to do in that category, so I've left it up for you and the director to discuss versus me plugging numbers and telling you what to do. I mean, not telling you what to do, but you know.
Any questions on the financials?
Looks great.
I want to thank Scott for really helping me over the past few days and getting me up to speed on where we are and then how we can go ahead and project as we go into 2024. So it's been a blessing to have him, boots
Thank
on the ground with me this week. So
Thank
you,
you.
Scott.
That means a lot. Thank you very much. One thing I'll tell you, we both love Eureka, and we can work 10-hour days, and it seems like it's 2 hours as long as we get a 15-minute coffee break, right? But we're all about Eureka, and I enjoy that.
For a muffin from Main Street.
I brought him a muffin from Main Street today.
So on Paradise, it shows there's still 165,000 out there under their budget, correct? Am I looking at this right?
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing.
So,
What line item are you looking at? Give me a number. 5,004?
5,006?
Graphic production. No, that's-
Ad production? Doesn't that sum, I think that sums it all up.
Paradise.
First page, 5,006, right?
Is that all Paradise, or is it just 505,004?
I don't see that. I don't
Or
see
the
it.
first page?
Oh, you're looking at a total.
Look at 5,000.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's a category. This is current as of right now. We did receive invoices yesterday that I did process, and that everything is current what's in this report now. I mean, this is accurate as of right now.
Even what you received yesterday?
Yes.
So when do we get, and Michael may be able to help us with that, when do we get, how do we know what's left
Now-
out there that they're going to build?
In the past, Paradise Advertising would bill us once a month. They've changed it to twice a month. They send us invoices.
Okay.
The answer to your question, I don't know
Okay.
yet. But it's something that needs to be talked about.
So is 506 all Paradise, or is just 5004? Is those other things also under Paradise, or is just those are
Media
different?
placement is also them.
If you look, the way the budget was presented for 2023, it was broken down, if I'm not mistaken, into 5 categories. And if you look under this worksheet I gave you here, and you'll see the highlighted lime green, those are the ones affected by Paradise. Yes. The first half of the page up is all Paradise related.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Is your lime green or yellow by chance?
Yeah. I guess I don't see, I don't see well. I'm sorry. I'm trying.
Yeah, mine's yellow.
That's the way it was broken down. Now,
I
my
wasn't
category,
trying to get into the budget stuff. I just was asking a question,
Okay.
kind of putting that out
Me
there
too.
so we, okay.
Yeah, I think what we're going to have to go ahead and do, and we'll visit with Michael on this as well, as we go ahead and move through December, we'll be able to go ahead and pull a little bit more of a detail on where we stand with not only what we're doing, but also the finals as well. So I know that we had a little bit of discussion of when we wanted the final ability to go on. So we are at that point.
that's right.
Okay, any other questions on?
So Scott, there were no delinquencies?
I haven't looked,
Okay.
I haven't looked at the delinquencies for the month of October because I haven't closed, but I will say that those that were delinquent are paying, and I'm very happy with that. I'm seeing some positive response, very positive response.
Okay, good.
So yes, sir, I'm happy. It's good.
So approval?
Any other questions?
I move we approve the financials presented by Scott Barden for October.
Second.
Got a motion by Steve Holyfield to approve the financials for October 2023, seconded by David Holyfield. David Avanzino. He's trying to,
I know.
anyway. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you. I don't know why I blend y'all's names. Okay, on to director report. You want to tee it up with Michael?
Yeah, I'd like to, Michael, good evening, and thanks for being with us this evening. And I know that you've had some great conversation with Caitlin and also probably Danielle. I've been remiss in not being able to sit in on all of those, but on the same token, I know that we're on the right course as we go through the end of the year. So, Michael, it's all yours. Thank you, sir.
Great. All right, well, good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. This is the October monthly report presentation. Sorry. All right, so we'll get right into the Zardico Visitor Insights. Based on our observed visitor with the Zardico data, top origin market shifted from October, with Little Rock, Pine Bluff rising to number 1, with Tulsa, Oklahoma remaining at number 2, and Kansas City dropping to number 3. Springfield remained constant at number 4, and Oklahoma City rose to number 5. The overall share of the overnight visitors for the month was 65.1%, slightly higher, but staying on par with September. And out-of-state visitation decreased month over month as well. The top 5 market areas based on total visitor spending for October are Little Rock, Tulsa, Kansas City, and Springfield. And the top POI shifted slightly month over month, with Eureka Springs Auditorium rising to number 1, which is probably no surprise with the Bike and Booze Barbecue, followed by the Crescent Hotel at number 2, and the Nelson Slane Tavern and the Grotto Wood Fire Grill and Wine Cave at number 3. This is just a visual representation where you can see the strength of Little Rock coming in there for the top origin markets. And then you have September as a baseline. And then just a chart to show you where your overnight visitor total is in the blue, and the green is the day trip total.
Hey, Michael,
Yeah.
you had said that there's a slight decrease in overnight and day trip, I think, right? Isn't that what
Yes.
that just said? So is that, and that's versus September, but what about versus last year?
I don't know if I have that on this slide, but I can send that to you. No worries. Yeah, we were doing the month before, but I can send that to you for a follow-up. Okay, so for the DMAs by trip type, you can see that the short trip is in blue, day trip is in green, longer day trip is in the brown, and then the overnight stay is right there. And then we have the visitor spending top market areas versus visitation. I know these are small on your screen, but you'll have the report to look at. Points of interest, Eureka Springs Auditorium, jump to the top. We have Crescent Hotel and Nelson Slane Tavern at number 3. All right, so from an advertising and marketing summary, it was the ongoing fulfillment of the fall holiday campaign creative. The creative launched on 9/18. It's set to run through December. We coordinated with the second influencer visit for Brittany Rose, who was in market 10/14 to 10/17, and I think that was an extremely amazing success. She just did amazing content for you guys. I think her last posting was today, one of her reels, but amazing interaction, amazing people viewing the videos on the reels and the posting. So it was a very, very successful campaign. I hope you guys will think about using her again in the future. She was great, and she was wonderful to work with. So, and thank you so much to Danielle and Caitlin for helping us organize all the visits and working with the different attractions and things like that. It was flawless, so it's perfect. In October, we were thinking about the holiday influencer campaign, but we did hear back today that we are not going to proceed with the holiday influencer campaign, so that's perfectly fine, because obviously was what we were doing in October. Obviously, just the day-to-day stuff, the estimates, web maintenance. We've already started the offboarding process. We've completed the GoDaddy domain name transfer over to your GoDaddy account, so that is done. WordPress is next, so that's going to be coming shortly with instructions on what you guys need to do to set that up, and then that will be all over to you guys. Obviously, until the end of the year, we should still have passwords for everything because if something does happen, we're going to need to get in there. So I talked to Danielle about that, and I have those credentials just so I have them. If something goes down on a weekend or something, I will be able to address it. And then just normal status reports and weekly status with the team. Public relations, continue to be proactive and outreach to the publications based on the seasonality, pitched fall and winter travel, haunted month. Again, this is all in October, so you got to think for other historic hotels, October adventure and events in Eureka Springs. Pitched Eureka Springs as a top holiday and Christmas destination. Pitched the Crescent Hotel as a top haunted destination. I took my first trip there when I was there in market, and I can see why it feels a little haunted. Responded to media queries for the fall and winter getaways, haunted hotels and resorts and romantic travel. Distributed the Hidden Gem Roundup trip. Underrated winter travel pitch, which is a great one. And followed up on Global Sweep Under the Stars night pitch and liaison with Forbes for the haunted destination coverage. When we look at just some of the trends in the Adara impact, year-to-date, the book-to-arrival to destination are looking at just 5 days, so by the time people are booking and arriving in destination is 5. The search to booking window for flights has remained constant, around 10 to 13. We're saying that pretty much across the board with all of our destinations. That's feeling pretty consistent. And then time period of travelers booking a flight to arrival and destination has remained the same at about 39 days. We look at some of the top hotel and flights. The hotels are on the left and the flights are on the right. So you can see Charlotte, Greenville, and Columbia in Atlanta for hotels. And then you can see on the right Orlando, Boston, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Okay, so for paid media summary, the fall campaign continued in October with additional media launching throughout the month. The tactics include display banners, native ads, e-blast, and retargeting banners, and some streaming TV. The total impressions were 1,000,002. Total clicks were at 1,817 with a click-through rate of 0.14, which is above the 0.8, 0.10 click-through average. Total video views were 187,000, that's great, and the video completion rate was 93, and again, the benchmark is 70, so really good video completion rate on that. And then the top performing media partners for October was DigDev banners with a 0.22 click-through rate, which is outstanding, so that's great. For paid social in October, the fall holiday campaign along with the motorcycle events campaign continued to run. Even with a slighter budget this month, there was a significant growth in post engagement clicks and click-through rates, which were well above the industry benchmark. So impressions were 990,000, which was a small increase over September, but the engagement, look at these numbers, 25,000 with a 56% increase over September. Clicks were at 26,000 with an 18% increase over September, and the click-through rate was 2.68. And again, that's 25% over September. That's the industry benchmark of 0.9. So the most top-performing ad is the one on the right, which is the creative there. But obviously, all the different work we did around the bikers program really was successful. People had a lot of engagement with that, a lot of clicks and a lot of click-through rates to find out more about what was going on that month around the motorcycle event. So that was very successful. I think you guys will continue that next year. You can take the learnings that we have and obviously share it with your new partner. But it's very, very impressive, and we're really excited about that. So kudos to you guys for working through that. Paid media, the Google page search in the month of October, the fall holiday campaign continued to run. The October results were 44,000 impressions, click-through rate, clicks of 10,000, click-through rate of 23.68. The industry benchmark is 4, so just amazing. That's you couldn't ask for better, really. Average click-through cost per click was 0.19. The industry benchmark is 1.54. So that just shows that our team behind the scene were making adjustments as needed to make sure that we were getting the greatest value we could for the cost per click. So those are really strong numbers that we hope that will continue. The top performing ad, again, we always put a picture with our listing in Google. Not everyone does. It performs much better, but it was the things to do in Eureka Springs. Again, this is a trend we've seen all year, that the more we can get out and remind people of all the amazing things that you can do in Eureka Springs, they want to be fed that information. They may not know about you guys, and this is proving that people are, excited to go to Eureka Springs, but they know what to do. And that's very common in destinations, and I think we've been doing a great job, we meaning you guys and us, to get that out there. If we look at the top performing keywords, again, the trend continues. Things to do in Eureka Springs, fun things to do in Eureka Springs. Eureka Springs calendar is basically the same thing, right? What's going on in the calendar? What can I do? Events in Eureka Springs, Eureka Springs events, what to do in Eureka Springs. I think you're seeing the theme here. Those are performing very well, and we should continue doing advertising that promotes the variety of events that are in Eureka Springs. So again, these are learnings that I hope you guys take with you in the new year, because these are, we're seeing this consistently, and it's been growing over time since we started the campaign. So it's showing that the campaign messaging has evolved and is working very strongly. I mean, if you go back to the monthly reports, you'll just see these things continue to go to the top, which is what we want, because that's how you're going to get somebody to travel to your destination. And then the website. Okay, so the overall site traffic increased in October by 16% month over month. That makes sense. We saw all those great metrics with the paid social and organic socials. Obviously, they're clicking through and they're going to the website. There was also an increase in the average session duration by 16%. That's really encouraging. That means that people are going there, they're finding the site useful, they're clicking on lots of things because they're seeing lots of things they want to learn about in Eureka Springs. So that's great, and the engagement rate was up 5%. The traffic source for the website saw a fairly significant increase in organic search and organic social over September, while the paid search traffic decreased and display increased. Again, I would attribute that to just a lot of the buzz around bikers. People probably were going to the website, trying to search Eureka Springs, find out what's happening in market. Maybe it's the concerts, things like that. So that's very successful. Majority of the users can be 35 to 54-year-olds. Texas, no surprise, remained the top state for website visitation, with Missouri rising to number 2, and Oklahoma and Illinois rounding out the top 5. Top traffic pages for including the homepage and the pillar landing pages were things to do, events and attractions, and the trend continues. And of the top 20 traffic sites, those with the highest engagement rates included things to do, where to stay, and the events landing page. And here's where your organic search, your organic social, and direct, you can kind of see where that worked out. And we had 144,000 views, 60,000 sections, 47,000 active users, and the average duration was 2.56, that's good, and the engagement rate was 52.6. If we look at the cities, we have Dallas, Oklahoma, Chicago. We talked about those, but you can kind of see it visually. And you can see that we kind of got a grouping in there of that 35 to 44. Then you have your more active boomers as you get up to the 55 to 64 segment. And this is from Zartico. This just gives you this year and last year organic traffic from those specific markets. And then you have your page listings, which we just talked about. You can kind of see that, again, that's the sweet spot. That's where people want to book a hotel and stay, because there's things to do, lots of things to do. So that's very, very promising. And here's with the engagement rate, again, things to do, where to stay. That's a good one to have, right? Where to stay. They're really thinking about booking there. So that's very encouraging. And our next steps is just to continue finalizing the development of the fall holiday campaign. That's pretty much wrapped up. Just a couple little things we're doing. Website development. We've got recommendations for what you guys should be thinking about for the future. There's some recommendations that WordPress has provided for us that you probably want to upgrade from the package you have now. I've been working with Caitlin on this, so I'll have all that information over next week, and I would strongly suggest that you guys upgrade, because you guys are getting more and more traffic than ever, and you're going to start to run out of space to have it run smoothly, so you want to look at that, but I'll have a whole document for you on exactly what to do on that. And then, of course, we just continue to monitor the intelligence data as we look ahead. And like I said before, we want to make sure that we put you guys in a really good position with the transition. So Danielle, Caitlin, and I, and Sarah, on my side, have been working just to make sure we get everything transferred over to you in a timely fashion, so there's no hiccups at the end of the year. And we got word that we'll get all of our final invoices in by January 15th. It takes a minute for us to get the December invoices in from the vendors, obviously. But as soon as we have those all in, we will I'll send you the final invoices by January 15th, and then the books will be clear. And that is that for today. If anyone has any questions here.
It looks great.
Okay, great.
Well, thank you, Michael, for that report. Obviously, extraordinary work has gone into what has occurred with Paradise, and we're very appreciative of those efforts. And we do appreciate the fluid nature of what is going on right now with the transition. And I know that our staff, Caitlin, and certainly Danielle, and myself, and Scott, really have enjoyed this privilege of working with you guys. And we will see you in some other markets such as NADA. And
Yeah, exactly. So I will stop by and say hi.
I will be there along with some of our peers here in Eureka Springs too. So you're not going away. You're just not as close as you used to be. So
Exactly. Well, but in the meantime, if you guys need anything, please let me or my staff know, and we'll be happy to help in any way possible.
Michael, I just want to say I appreciate your professionalism. It's been nice working with you all year, and it really has been good working with you. Good luck on the coffee.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, guys, I will sign off. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving break.
Bye, Michael.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Michael. I'll go into my report. I have this thing about 58 minutes, and we're really doing really well right now. Over the past 3.5 weeks, I've had the opportunity to probably run into 50 to 75 people, maybe more than that, I don't know. People that know me, people that don't know me, and no one has been more humble than me in reference to the people that have come up to me and indicated that we're glad you're back. We're very happy about the positive direction that we see the CAPC taking. You know, we're very happy that you're going to be able to get your commission back up to a full 7. And those are the things that I think will unite us all and make us very happy that we're going to move in a very positive direction as we go through 2024. The 58-minute thing is something that I've kicked around for a long time, and one of the things we are going to do with 58 minutes is create what is called the 58-minute breakfast. And every other week, we're going to have a group of 4 to 5 people meet with me and some staff down at Mud Street, and we're going to go into the cafe at 8 o'clock in the morning and for about 58 minutes talk about what is relevant in Eureka. We want a mix of people that come into that, obviously stakeholders, our business partners and so forth, and we'll try to keep that rotation pretty alive so that we've got different voices each time, but we felt like that would be a great way to bring in people on a regular basis to understand not only what the CAPC is doing, but for us to listen to what the community wants. So Jennifer Cross has been very happy that we're going to do that. Their cafe during the month of January is only open at certain times, so it's going to go to Monday, and that may shift as we go into spring. But we'll try to send the notices out 2-3 weeks in advance and come up with a list of people that we really enjoy sitting down and having breakfast with. So each one of you will be in one of those meetings. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity. We think it's a good way to go ahead and do this. We're reigniting a very good relationship with the state of Arkansas, particularly Arkansas Parks, Tourism, and Heritage. I've already been in contact with Christine Puckett, who is the Deputy Director of the agency, along with Leah DiPetro, and I'll be meeting with her next Tuesday. Leah is the Director of Communications for the state of Arkansas. These are people that really have their finger on what is going on, and also the people that we can provide assets to and people that can give us assets as well. One of the other people that's always been instrumental in helping Eureka is Jill Rohrbach. Jill is a fantastic travel writer for the state, and she's very keen on Eureka. She lives in Fayetteville, coincidentally, so her knowledge and background of Northwest Arkansas is very good. We will be meeting with all these people at the Governor's Conference in February. I'll give you those dates. It will be in Jonesboro this year in February. And another opportunity for you as commissioners to make that trip. We'll be there, and I think as any of you who have gone to a governor's conference have realized that Tourism is a big darn business in the state, and we really appreciate the efforts of the state of Arkansas in helping our individual cities. That is really at the crux of one of the things that I've wanted to work very seriously with the state on, is to have that recognition very solid, with our partners in the state of Arkansas. It's very important. Along with that same type of relationship is to go ahead and continue to work aggressively with the Northwest Arkansas Tourism Association. NADA has 7 regions in the state of Arkansas, of which not NADA, but the state of Arkansas has 7 regions of tourism that they support, with NADA, which is Northwest Arkansas, being the largest. We receive matching grants from the state of Arkansas to go ahead and promote the state, and we also right now have Paradise as the agency for Paradise, so we're not losing them right now. And this is a way that all 4 counties of Benton, Washington, Carroll, and Madison County participate together with an opportunity to go ahead and really showcase what we do. As you probably well know, Northwest Arkansas is now become probably the most visited region within the state of Arkansas, and that's basically because we all do good stuff. You might be surprised that over the course of time, there have been 4 cities that have been the largest collectors of the state's 2% tourism tax. Pulaski County usually being number 1. Number 2 is floated back and forth, but now it's fairly solidly Benton County. The reason for that, Benton County has Siloam Springs, it has Rogers, it has Bella Vista, and obviously Bentonville that contribute to that Benton County tax. So when you see number 1, Pulaski, number 2, obviously Benton, we have been able to dance around with Garland County in the past. Garland County is Hot Springs. So I haven't seen those numbers recently, don't know where they are, but we've always enjoyed looking at beating Garland County whenever we could. Now, you say, what's up with Washington County? Washington County, oddly enough, has always been in that top 4 area at some times, but their only a collector really is Fayetteville and Springdale. You'd think with the hogs, you'd see bigger numbers, but on the same token, it is, again, a lodging situation for them. I have made some very interesting visits recently with some of our partners, and I'll tell you about one today that was quite good. I talked to our great friend Kent Butler at the Passion Play. We're going to meet with him next week, basically in reference to understanding some of their marketing and how they go about it. Very uniquely, the Passion Play has 2 giant assets, the city of Houston and the city of Chicago. Houston brings them their largest congregate of Asians that come from the Houston metro, that come to the Great Passion Play. And the second is Chicago with Koreans. And those 2 groups have been one of the most success stories that the Passion Play has enjoyed over the past some period of time. And one of the things that we're going to be talking with Kent about is really this cultural marketing that they do, and some of the best ways that we as commissions can look at that type of marketing and how it may affect us in some different ways. Today, we had a conversation in our office about group sales. Group sales is something that I think probably fell off a little bit, don't know exactly where it's gone, but it's a very important component for Eureka Springs. Group sales in the past has been one of the reasons that we've had different types of events, conventions, and so forth that have come into our community. And being able to, again, I call it reignite that relationship with the state of Arkansas is very important. The state of Arkansas travels internationally to different destinations to go ahead and market the state. But within the United States, the state of Arkansas also has partnered with various cities at various times to go into, for instance, the Denver Outdoor Show. One of the shows that we went to in the past was mountain biking, and very successful. So when we partner with the state and we show Eureka Springs as being a component of that, it's a win-win. and they help us in that participation. So I think one of the things that we will be looking at is the opportunity to potentially look at group sales in a broader base than we are right now. Scott and I had a terrific idea the other day I want to share with you, but we found out that over the weekend, 438 Porsches showed up at Best Western. That was a big weekend, very big weekend. So what if we had 40 weekends? And we started thinking about, that type of thinking for one particular segment. Well, you can really let your mind go wild there. But this is another opportunity to take a look at how group sales can have a big factor in what can pull in a lot of traffic during a weekend to augment other things that go on. So it could be a car show in conjunction with Folk Festival. You can use your imagination. So I'm pretty happy about these positive conversations that we're having, looking at bringing more people into our community in different ways that maybe we've never touched them before. Our relationship with Mad Media is really good. I'm very happy with it. We've had a couple of good conversations. We will tomorrow, talking to Taylor Gossaman as well. Next Tuesday, we're going to bring the staff in with Taylor and some of the staff with Madden to talk a little bit more specifically about what we want. Caitlin has done a fantastic job of putting together some objectives that we would like to discuss with them. I did mention, I think, a while ago, some generational ideas of which we look at basically millennials, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, and the messaging that we are utilizing to reach these groups. In my world today, it's not enough to just build an ad and hope it gets out there. What's important is building the ad to the right people and making sure that message appeals to those people. It's very cool to have a Gen Zer on staff, and that's Caitlin. And when you have from baby boomer to Gen Z, you have a very interesting spectrum of tastes and opportunities to go ahead and really understand what the media market is doing and how you reach people. That said, one of the things that we already explored was the idea of what is the cost to bring in videographers into the city. And what has happened, and you probably have seen a lot of this, is that Caitlin and Danielle have been up on the roof, they've been on zip lines, they've been everywhere, taking pictures and videos and just a myriad of things that have been so good that this is exciting stuff that we really, we should have been paying for. Yet on the same token, we have two people on our staff that are just going out there and getting it. So we made an acquisition over the past couple of days of providing Caitlin some professional videography equipment to basically be able to do those things and make them look really darn good. And it was like Christmas for her today to get into that. Scott and I have been looking at the rough draft for 2024. We're carefully reviewing those numbers from 2023. I can tell you probably right now, he and I are both on the conservative level, and we are not going to be taking a leap of faith in 2024 at this time. If our budget seems a little flat, okay. If we overdo it by making more money, great. On the same token, we don't want to be in a situation where our projections were so high we can't hit them. It just makes us look not so good. We've been very fortunate in 2023 to be able to hit some marks that maybe we didn't know about, particularly with something like September. We'd like to have a September every month, but ladies and gentlemen, sometimes that's a big objective. So our hope is to go ahead and create a budget that's going to go ahead and take care of all of our necessary needs, but also give us the fluidity to be creative and push some of those envelopes. And we think with Madden, we're going to be able to do that. Finally, unless you have any questions, I want to make one final comment. In Beverly, in Mai's world, to come over to Eureka, we were extremely excited to come over here in looking for a property to find a home to rent. We did so, and we have done so with Mr. Evansino and his property. We're very thrilled to be there, but I realize as an interim director, maybe that can be viewed in a different light. So I yield my time now to the chair.
I appreciate the last comment. I know David's real big on transparency, and we've had discussions here about that. So Mike came to me and said, hey, we're looking at this place. What do you think? Shared my concerns. Obviously, we all do business in town and things, and the important thing is that we're transparent. And so then we contacted the AP attorney, and he suggested, yes, there's a conflict of interest now because of that, yes, there is a conflict of interest due to a financial relationship between you, and that he is applying for the job, and you have a vote for that. So his advice was A, disclose it, B, abstain from voting for his.
Absolutely, yeah, I'd recuse myself.
Right, perfect. Very nice. I think the public probably appreciate the way we handled that, and to be commended. I was going to make a point on the group sales. I'm super excited about that, particularly like the RFP process for conventions and groups out there. That's a lag time of years, and we don't have that, unfortunately, but getting it going would be tremendous, capturing some of these national groups. We did Goldwing Group in Wichita, and it was 2 years out, but it was a big economic boom for the town getting that one. But anyway.
Well, that's a good point, because most organizations aren't booking for next week. They're booking for 2024, 2025, 2026, and those calendar events, just much like the Governor's Conference on Tourism, I'm sure that 2025 and probably 2026 have already been highlighted. And there's always competition for those things, obviously. But your point is well taken. You look way out for your organization.
Cool. Any other questions?
Yeah, great, thank you.
All right, public comments. We have a large crowd tonight of 3 people.
Mr. Mayor, you want to do
You want to take a 5-minute break and then we'll swear some people in?
Oh, sure.
Oh, y'all weren't even. Oh, wow. Okay, I did not know that. Yes, let's recess for a 5-minute break. 3 hours.
It's 6:57.
It'll be 150 day.
We're not done yet.
That's all right. 2 minutes. That was a fine.
And we're back.
That's a gimme.
No public comments?
But we have one gentleman.
Oh, we do. I'm sorry.
Good evening. My name is Robert Schmidt. You might have seen my application for the empty seat you still have here. I thought I'd take the chance to just come down here real quick and introduce myself. I'm the owner of Edelweissen, that's the motel up on 62, and I've been on the CAPC from 2013 till about 2016, and then I resigned for private personal reasons, and then I had no interest to be on the commission for the last few years for various reasons, obviously reasons, and now I see there's a full set of people here, and you made a good decision hiring Mike Maloney back on the table, and that encouraged me to put in my application and see what you think about it, and hopefully I will be able to fill up your empty seat. I don't know if you have any questions or...
So what'd you say your name was?
Robert Schmidt. Not Schmidt, it's Schmidt. It's S-C-H-M-I-D. I'm originally from Switzerland, and I moved here about 15 years ago.
Robert, you've had 2 properties here.
Pardon?
You've had 2 properties.
Yes, yeah. I'm on my second, yeah.
Yep.
I only won one, but I sold the other one. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robert.
And moving on to agenda updates. Commissioners may add to the agenda with motion, second, and a vote. Any additions? We do need to address check signing. We have past commissioners that are still, we didn't remove. Jeff Carter, Mark Hicks. We just haven't officially removed them. We need to add 2 new ones. So probably need 2 motions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a motion to remove Jeff Carter and Mark Hicks from check signing capabilities for CAPC.
Second.
I have a motion by David Avanzino to remove Jeff Carter and Mark Hicks from check signing capabilities with the CAPC, seconded by Steve Holyfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Motion to add Bradley Tate Green and Colin Polk to check signing capabilities for CAPC.
Second.
And a motion by David Avanzino to add Colin Polk and Bradley Tate Green to check signing capabilities for the CAPC. We've got a second by Steve Holyfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay. New business funding requests. Looks like looks like our Sam. Is that
Parks
right?
and Rec. Mr. Dudley.
Oh, hey. I believe you guys have all had a chance to look at the map, correct? The new trail maps? It's all good? Okay. Just make sure you had plenty of time to review it before making a decision.
So you want 5,000 help with print. You came and talked to us before about it. Okay. So help me here, because I know we did fund this in 2023.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and you ran out of those maps. So when did these get printed, and when do you need the money?
I mean, I got everything proofed and ready to go. All I gotta do is hit the approve button and then Mark from Pocket
We
Maps.
need the maps now? Is that, okay.
Yeah.
That-
And I'll tell
those are the
everyone,
questions I'm asking.
from a lodging standpoint, we blew through these maps. People wanted them left and right, and they were just a great idea from the Parks Department, so.
And with the dam being reopened and
Yep.
good things happening at Leatherwood, I mean, we're going to go through them even quicker now, I would imagine. Although it's kind of a slow time, but
Where's,
It's one of the coolest maps I've seen.
It's pretty dope.
Fold out, put in your pocket.
Yeah,
I mean,
nice.
let me bust out my Gen Z lingo. It's pretty dope.
There is waterproof paper, you know.
And we did change the color scheme just so people can tell which ones are the older ones and the newer ones.
Too bad we couldn't make people give us an email address to get a map. That'd be nice.
I definitely consider this advertising for the city as well. So.
Oh, absolutely.
I move we accept the funding request by Parks for this Trails map for $5,000.
Second?
Got a motion by Steve Holyfield for $5,000 for parks, for trail maps, seconded by David Avanzino. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, just
Thank
a
you.
note on that too, we got a 10% discount because last batch took so long to get, remember?
Oh.
You know, and so
Oh,
they
wow. Cool.
So it's
give us
4,500?
even more, you know,
Is that-
probably about 12,500 maps. And just for transparency's sake, you know, Parks will keep a portion of these, you know, for our own use. You know, I know CAPC is promoting businesses, but when we're going to pass out 75% to businesses, but obviously we need to keep some for
It's all
ourselves.
advertising though for,
Yeah.
Just helps town.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank
I'll
you.
hit that approve button tomorrow morning.
And I hiked.
Thanks, Sam.
I hiked around Lake Leatherwood this past weekend, and it looks great out there. Sure. I like it. Yeah.
Okay, this one's tabled, this other funding request till
That is.
December. Correct? Okay. All right. We need to talk hiring procedures for CAPC director. Nothing's been posted yet. Danielle's contacted Staffmark, talked to our AP attorney as well on this one, advised it would be, A, clean, we need to post whatever process we come up with and do. B, wise to perhaps have a third party, like Staffmark recruiter, drawing it, posting, gathering resumes, sorting for whatever the high level qualifications, not nitpicking, but and then also recruiting. But so the thing with them, if they recruit and the commission hires that candidate, you pay a 12% fee of salary, which isn't really bad actually compared to, I know in the medical world we'd pay 20% or higher sometimes. But anyway, we already have one candidate that's, wants the job. We have a couple of other previous candidates as well that want the job. So, seems like a good deal. Potentially, one way we could go would be wait a couple of months, let resumes come in, get through the holidays. After first of the year, then whatever procedure we come up with, move forward. There's some thoughts?
So we're using an agency to post it and
Well,
everything?
that's up to us. So,
I don't see a need to spend extra money to do that. I
so it
think
doesn't cost us unless they recruit a candidate.
unless we hire the candidate.
Yeah, their candidate, yeah.
Okay.
So the kind of the reasoning, and this is where the AP attorney came from too, the CAPC is a standalone
Right.
organization. And so when you've got city mechanisms involved, it's just not as clean. And so you want to try not to have a conflict, try not to have influence in the process. And a third party, you could be more assured of that. Because we don't currently have in-house HR. So. Any thoughts on last time? So for the new guys, the last time we did a hiring committee, Steve and I got the joy of that with Lynn Berry, who's Branson's head of their A&P organization. Jim McDonald was just a gentleman from the community, former business guy with IBM, kind of a neutral business guy. But
Clarification, Lynn is part of their A&P. She's not the director.
okay.
But she has lots of experience, and we were lucky to have her, and lucky resource for a great resource for
I
our.
thought Lynn was their director.
No, she's not the boss.
Oh.
She's a boss of part of it. And their A&P,
It's a little different.
which is what other cities call CAPC, and other cities is called A&Ps.
Yeah.
Ours
Bill
is
calls it
CAPC.
AP.
But their A&P is also merged with their chamber, so it's a little different setup up there. But she's got a great experience, years and years of experience, and is a wonderful resource for her.
And if you don't know, it's Butch's wife,
Yeah,
for disclosure.
my neighbor too.
Well, then,
In this small town,
There goes the
everybody's
neighborhood.
neighbors, though.
right.
I don't think we're in any big hurry. Mike's not going anywhere, right, Mike?
No,
So I think we're not in a big rush to hire anybody, and I think we let it ride and see who we can get to come in. And
Yeah,
then
nothing
set
gets
up.
done during the holidays really, so.
It's a terrible time.
It's hard for everyone
Yeah.
to do stuff. We're already trying to get the budget done.
Yeah.
They're trying to transition with a media agency. Other people, that might be interested in job, traveling, lots of commitments. Never know.
So do you need to look for a recruiting company, or you already have one picked out?
She talked to Staffmark. She talked to a couple of them. Staffmark was, Cameron Smith, Stout. Those are more interested in vendor recruiting and then working with us. But Staffmark was willing to.
So do we need to hire staff, Mark? What's the process?
No, Mike, or I guess Mike would sign a contract, and you've got a copy of it, right? Their contract? Yeah. I glanced at it, and I talked to their rep today when she sent it over, and that's what I was clarifying, what the charge was like, okay, if it's our candidate, what's the charge? Because I expected a nominal charge, but she said there's not.
Okay.
There's no charge unless they source the person.
Right.
I might be able to replicate it on someone.
Do we have the description of the job today?
So we have, at this point, we have the job description that we'd used when we did the hiring process with Scott about 4 months ago. And Mike was involved in that process too.
So it should be pretty quick to get it started.
Yeah, I mean, that's, unless someone wants to make a change to the job description, should be able to get it posted tomorrow.
I can sign it, but I told Danielle she'll have to be my proxy because I can't write.
Anybody else want to look at this?
I can make an X.
I was wondering whose handwriting this was on all these documents.
Oh, shoot.
I was like, this is
Seriously,
new, I haven't seen this.
The hand just doesn't work right.
He's gonna be like,
Yeah, I could do better that way. I thought about that. Yeah.
So if we're gonna wait till after the first of the year, do we want to get the job posted before then?
yeah, we want to get it,
So,
whatever we do with that, we do want to get the ball moving as far as, so then we can start whatever that interview process
yeah,
is.
be able to put it in the budget too, because it's gonna be like, if it's $80,000, it'd be $9,600 for hiring. So, 90.
Okay, I think we'll just move forward with that, and then maybe January meeting, we set up, see where we're at on applications and resumes and stuff, and go from there.
Okay?
Do we need we don't need to make a motion, do we?
Let's make a motion, make it clean, that, yeah.
Before you make the motion, I'll recuse myself.
Yeah.
I move that we go ahead and hire staff, Mark, to assist with our seeking a new, a permanent CAPC director.
A second.
Got a motion by Steve Holyfield to retain staff Mark for the purposes of hiring the permanent CAPC director, seconded by Chris Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, and then in January, we'll revisit hiring committee or whatever.
Right.
Rough draft budget discussion. So we can, we're over an hour now. But the thought process was like to kind of, like we talked earlier, have some high-level discussion, maybe pointing out anything that could be a concern, thoughts, your expectation, like it's, we can.
I think we just set a workshop and then everybody bring questions or
Okay.
points discussed then during the workshop.
Okay. So will it be enough time to have an hour workshop before the next meeting?
Absolutely.
Or will an hour be enough time, is what I mean?
I think so. I think what we're going to be able to do is to really go ahead and hone in on, principal expense categories that we're going to have. We will take a look at our approach for collections, quarterly. One of the pluses to be able to go back and take a look at each quarter and do that evaluation, to see where we stand. We know we have months that are going to be good and some that, are iffy. On the same token, as we work with Madden, I think we're going to see, that probably have the most direct effect on what our budget's going to be. And I can go ahead and probably drill down more information by next week on that. Because, we've got, chats about media, those expenses, and then also a component that I would really like to see us internalize a few things that we have not done in the past, at least recently.
I heard one, over here, and I kind of
What was it?
internalized that as well.
What?
Not to you, but to will that be enough time? Is there any other, That's not quite how you did it.
Depends on, what kind of scientific calculator you bring with you.
So, just for reference, when we were just going through the financials, we started getting in the weeds just on one little topic of funding requests. And some of that stuff, especially with new commissioners, we experienced this last year, we're going to have philosophical or fundamental kind of debates about, and it takes a minute.
Well, there's actually an
I don't know
approach
if an
to all
hour.
those things that we can take a look at. And, some of those percentages of our office expense,
Yeah.
versus other things that we do. As I mentioned, formularies for things like market support funds.
Obviously, you guys are teeing it up and giving us your recommendation, but
Sure.
I promise you, there's going to be a lot of discussion. There
Should
was
be.
last year.
Think so?
Yeah.
There should be.
Yeah.
So how much, if we had this meeting sometime in the first part of December, is that enough time?
Well, we talked about moving our meeting for, because of Christmas, to the week before, on Thursday, right? Is that, Mike?
21st.
21st.
With a budget workshop.
So, with the workshop in front of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if you go, 5, you only got an hour. Maybe at least go 4:30.
I think so. I actually would suggest 4. And
4?
that way,
Okay.
we can go ahead
Maybe
and,
safe.
you can take a break between that if we, kind of
Yeah.
get to a point where we feel pretty good about going into the 6 o'clock meeting, so.
What does
Maybe
everyone
from
think about
4
that?
o'clock.
21st at 4?
Yes, sir.
That's December, right?
Yeah.
It has to be. Well, then
Is that for the regular meeting
Yeah.
or the
because-
workshop?
Combined. Regular meeting because of holiday, because of Christmas and stuff.
Are we combining the two into one day? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because then hopefully, we're able to find what,
Yeah.
he brings the budget, we're able to make minor corrections or, if needed, tweaks, and then vote on it at transition to the regular meeting. That's what we did last year.
Yeah.
We really had 2 we had it's kind of what I was thinking tonight, but it was kind of the same discussion. I would just watch both of those meetings recently. So,
I might mention, while I can't have two commissioners in the office at the same time, what I would like to do is every commissioner be able to come in and sit down with me, staff, and go ahead and talk about these things.
that'd be awesome.
So when we get to that workshop, we're going in with information that you wanted to relay to us, that we can go ahead and, craft into that overall budget perspective, so that, we're not having to do a 6-hour marathon or whatever. But that way you can articulate the things that you find are important, but also perhaps we can, share with you a little bit more information. And this is particularly true for both Bradley and Colin at this point. So I know that you will have questions and also suggestions that we would like to entertain, along with you, Chris, and David, and Steve, and you.
And you and I have already talked about, I mean, the biggest question obviously is the Madden, the agency, because that's the biggest ticket item by far. And so that's the most work you've got to justify why you recommend whatever you recommend, and us, right? Does that make sense?
Well, Scott and I already determined that what we're going to propose is a $1,999,999.99 budget.
Yeah. The budget, right.
Yeah.
We're talking about the whole.
That's the sales, yeah.
I'm talking about the, yeah.
What we do with Madden.
We're talking about the gorilla in the budget.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a big gorilla, so you're right.
So then, some of the contentious issues, or whatever, I wouldn't, maybe contentious is the wrong
We're
word.
setting that up.
But some of the electric issues are things like parks, and fireworks and holidays. And so those are some of the things to be thinking about, where each person's at on all that.
Well, I think that even backs up the bigger issue. What is the purpose of this commission?
Yeah.
What do we spend money on? When we have being pushed by the community to say, hey, this, you can do a new art museum's coming to town. Why don't you give us money for that? There's this going on. Why don't you give us money for that? It's like, hold on now, is that under our jurisdiction or under our goal as a commission to say this is something we should be funding or not funding?
Yeah, I mean, there is some broad interpretation, but it is what, we're here to fund tourism, activities that create tourism. I mean, parks is part of that.
Is the
And,
art museum part of that? I'm not
I mean,
speaking against art museums. I don't want to get
Yeah.
emails about that.
I know.
But it's like, is that?
I could see how it would be, but,
Yeah, yeah.
that's where
We need to have that.
That's why we were
need
going
that
to take some
discussion.
time to do this. 'Cause
Also, a real
gonna
budget
wanna-
about these funding requests. Because
Yeah,
it's kind of been
exactly.
bumping it up without any kind of expectations on how much money you really budgeted for that, so.
Yeah, and that's why we have a formulary that I'm going to introduce to you that I think will make sense.
Okay.
What's the
Things
line
like the visitor guide for, the chamber, we funded postage last year, and that's really something they do that to me seems like a benefit for us, that we don't have to do it. I don't know, Mike may weigh in on that, but anyway, that's a discussion that was pretty deep too last year.
Let me say that looking back at the past 10 or 12 years of the budgets and how they were created, it's very cyclical. At one point in time, you had most of these funding requests listed as specific line items in the budget. So in theory, when the budget was approved, they didn't have to come to you or the commission to ask for a marketing funding request approval. And that's what you're talking about. And over commission time, it has changed to where it's restricted more to where we only have, for example, in reality, the request for the museum contract's a funding request. That's what it is, but that's how it's become a permanent part of our budget. So there's some thought needs to be involved with this, and you're right
Well,
on
that's,
that.
we were talking about the debate with the funding request piece, and like, to your point, 3 times and you're self-supporting. Well, you've got major events that are, super important to this community that,
May Festival
they're
of the Arts
pretty,
is a good example.
Mardi Gras.
But on the other hand,
I
some of these organizations could be seeking funding elsewhere And they don't have to because they can walk up here and hold their hand out to us.
So that's where we get into all this debate.
I know.
And I'm ready to go.
Where's
But
the
I want to go
line
home
item
tonight,
for the
too.
funding?
I'm sorry, and Colin?
Where's the line item for funding? Like, where would it fall in the budget for funding
Funding
requests?
What do you request?
Market
support funds.
Market support, 5067 is the account number.
And so to that question, during the year, we had to vote to move money, to allow Scott to move money into that line item because we committed to more than the budget, if we.
That's why I said we're just bumping it. We're bumping it.
Yeah.
Instead of, and maybe the answer is, that let's come up with an amount of money to say, this is it. And people who come and ask for it first, whoever gets the money gets the money, and then they say stop, But then we look at how much money we're carrying over from this year to next year. And it's kind of hard to say, no, we're not going to do that when we have $850,000 that we're carrying over.
We've also got a large amount of money we're sitting on, and you got Basin Park, we funded the study to do that. They're probably going to take some sort of action and need.
That's bigger than us, for
big,
sure.
yeah. And then, we need to, at some point, talk about that money. Like, do we just let it sit there, or do we,
Spend the interest on it.
Yeah.
Let it sit there and spend the interest.
and that's a good idea.
Well, the one suggestion I have, and I'll leave it at this, when we think about a commission and where it sits today in 2023, let's take a look at what the commission should look like in the year 2045. And what have we done in 2023 to help the future generations of our business, our people that come to Eureka Springs, and how we have an opportunity to go ahead and affect that. And, we need to be somewhat futuristic in thinking that we do have this opportunity to create a legacy and heritage. And that's an important component, I think, that sometimes gets overlooked.
Are we good with moving that meeting up 21st, 4 p.m. workshop and 6 p.m. regular?
Let's go with me.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll have to decide it all right there, because the budget's a week later.
It's all, most of it, you pretty much have to, you got to have staff, you got to have, marketing stuff. Mike will probably try to load it with all kinds of trinket stuff, but that's where we can, line item veto.
We don't need a motion to move it to 4 o'clock, though.
No.
It's just an agreement.
Yep. So unless there's any more discussion around the draft budget, move to commissioner comments. Bradley, if you have any comments.
Stick to the new guy.
Well, let's start with David. Okay, that's not fair. We're not gonna put you- David can show you how to do it. It's a template.
Spotlight right there.
Just, I think it was a great Porsche weekend. It's really, I've never been into Porsches, but for some reason this weekend I was. It was kind of cool. Looking forward to just a little bit of snow, please not much, and please no freezing pipes and all that kind of stuff. So everybody be safe out there.
It's good to be on the board. It's been a pretty good year for the Spring on Main. Exciting things have happened. I'm a new dad, so throw that out there. My girl's 6 weeks old, so.
Congratulations.
Woo.
So it's going to be an exciting winter.
Yeah. You're gonna be like me, tired.
And cranky.
Yeah. Mrs. Jones?
Good meeting, and just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. See you in a couple weeks.
Steve?
I'd like to welcome Colin and Bradley to the commission. Really glad you guys are here. And yeah, holidays are coming. Everybody enjoy the Turkey Day.
Bradley?
I just want to appreciate each one of you sitting here, and thank you for what you do for the community, and thank you for allowing me to serve. Our restaurant started off with me purchasing in April and didn't know what to expect, but we have grown probably 600% versus the previous owner. Last month we were up 700%, actually. So it's been a great year so far, and we're actually working really hard to open a breakfast lunch cafe on the other side of town, and hopefully it'll be a huge impact on the community and very influential as we continue to try to spread love and literally just serve love to this community, because we strongly believe in it. Don't know if many of you know, Marcus and I actually vacationed here for 5 years before we bought the restaurant. Our last day here, we went and ate at Mud Street, and we were like, we don't want to go home. If there's a restaurant for sale, we're going to find it. And lo and behold, as soon as we said that, here comes the owner in the door, and Marcus opens the door for he and his mom, and we just hear him say, I have a restaurant that I'm selling. We're like, and my eyes got really big. So I appreciate the opportunity and the welcome and the support of the community, and just want to tell you guys thank you for allowing me to serve and share that love with you guys as well as the commission.
Well, we definitely say thank you for volunteering both.
I know. Can we go on vacation now?
Yeah, right? Yes. All right, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion by Steve Holyfield to adjourn, second by David Avanzino. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.